Hey, what's up you guys? So for this video, I'm going to show you techniques of how to make more money doing Lyft and Uber. If you're curious about the income potential of doing Lyft and Uber, I have a link listed below to a video I already made, kind of describing the process of how the income works and my viewpoints on it. But for this particular video, I'm going to partly assume that you've been doing Lyft and Uber for a decent period of time, and you're looking to increase how much you make per hour. So let's begin. First off, I'm going to start. Obviously, this is my car. I have a Prius, obviously. Don't judge. But obviously, it's a hybrid, so I do save a lot of money on gas compared to other vehicles. Now, I'm not suggesting that, if you have like a van or basically a car that isn't good on gas, for you to trade it in and get a Prius or something like that just for the gas potential. I mean, maybe if you want to, you can. But to be honest, that's one thing I will say, that if you're looking to get a car to do Lyft and Uber, obviously saving money on gas is going to increase your income potential per hour inevitably, if that makes sense. Because obviously it doesn't matter how much you make, it matters how much you take home. So if you have, a van that you're spending, a ton of money on gas, that's something to definitely factor in. Obviously with the Prius, when I did the math out, I live in Boston right now, I should say that, because a lot of this is going to be geared towards the Boston market, in addition to every other market. But for Boston specifically, when I driven around, I think it was about $1.21 per hour I spend driving with the Prius. So obviously that's nothing compared to like a van or a vehicle that's going to be more expensive in gas. So that's something to consider. Second thing is look nice. I know some of this may be kind of common sense, but you'd be surprised how many Lyft and Uber drivers I'll meet, like if I'm taking Lyft and Uber to go somewhere, that do not have a good presentation and other things. So I'm going to briefly kind of touch upon these. This should be common sense to a lot of people, but I might as well say it just in case you're not doing this. Should look nice. This is actually my typical outfit. So I usually wear like a nice button up, and I find jeans, and I'm wearing business shoes. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but yeah, like business shoes. These are a little bit dirty, so I have to clean them up. But for the most part, look very presentable. I've actually found that when I've worn like a suit, because I actually tried that one time. I was doing an experiment where I did something new every day in May, and I had to wear a suit for one day all day. So I did Lyft and Uber in a suit, and I actually found that the people seemed a little bit deterred off because I was almost too dressed up, if that makes sense. So I would say when you dress up, just look very nice, presentable. I say, this is fine, like button up and nice jeans or whatever. Next thing is have your car look clean. So I'm going to open my doors, and as you can see, like there's some, a little dirt because also people coming in on like the floor and everything. But for the most part, like the car is clean, it's presentable, looks pretty much fine. I would suggest if you can, cleaning it every day or at least every week where it really does look nice. You'll be very surprised how much higher ratings will be, how friendly people will be, or how more friendly people will be if you have a clean car. And this is really kind of common sense, but I'm saying, I cannot tell you how many cars have been in doing Lyft and Uber that when I take them, it's like a mess, or they're dirty, or they smell bad, or something like that. And that's definitely not a great way to start off a conversation if you have someone coming in your car. So that's definitely one big thing I want to say. Now, in terms of music, this is one thing that I found works better. And sometimes, obviously, I'll get people who come in my car who I can tell are very talkative, and we are talking the entire ride. I have other people who get in my car who are not as talkative, and sometimes there's that gap of silence, or sometimes a few seconds to a few minutes. And so what I like to do in terms of music, and this is one thing I definitely want to kind of touch upon, is I'll put on the radio, because when you put on the radio, you don't have control over what's on the radio. If you play something that you like say for example, and the person doesn't like it, it's your kind of problem. I find more people are more lenient towards something being on the radio that they don't like, because it's not your fault, it's the radio's fault, so to speak. So what I'll actually do is I'll put on the radio very, very soft, and I'll put it on scan, so it'll constantly go from one channel to another. If someone hears something they like, they'll be like, oh, can you stop it, I actually like the song, and I'll stop it. If not, it'll constantly just be scanning, but I'll put it on quiet enough where if there is that awkward silence, then it's okay, because the music kind of fills it, as opposed to, if there isn't anything, it's just like dead silent. And then in addition, if I'm talking to somebody and we're having a great conversation, the music's turned down enough where it's not like they have to talk over the music. So that's one thing I'll say. Another thing going off the music is make sure you have an aux cord. I have a link listed below if you want to purchase one. They're literally like $5 or $10. They're really cheap. And basically it's something that you can connect your iPhone or iPod or whatever to it, and that's so helpful because I've had tons of people come in my car and be like, hey, is there any way I can throw on something? I want to listen to this one song, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. That's very, very popular. So it's something I definitely want to stress. It's $5 to $10, very, very important. Now, going along that as well, a big thing that I've seen on a lot of forums and people, if you talk to them, is like, oh, like if you do Lyft and Uber to increase your earnings, make sure you have water, make sure you have gum. I've even had some have like candy and food and napkins, stuff like that. Napkins are good, actually. Take that back. Napkins are good. But what I find is that with food and water and candy and all these kind of like amenities, they're really not necessary. I'll say this. I maybe should have said this in the beginning, but I've been doing this in Boston. My ratings are almost near perfect. I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 months, and I have almost perfect ratings. I get well above the average in Boston every single week. And it's more so just because I'm friendly, I'm nice, I'm courteous, try to keep my car clean and all these different techniques I'm talking about. For the most part, when it comes to that water and food stuff, you really, in my opinion, you don't have to do it. My ratings are fine. I'm not spending any extra money on water and food and candy and all these other things. I mean, you can if you want to, but in my opinion, it's just a waste of your money and it's decreasing from your hourly rate. The only thing I will suggest is that aux cord, which I mentioned before, because it's $5 to $10, you buy it once, you can use it a ton of times, and obviously music's a huge part of driving in general, especially on Friday and Saturday nights when people are getting ready to go to the club. They can throw on when they want to hear, or wherever they're going, and you're good to go. So that's more of just something I want to say. Just kind of briefly go over that stuff. Now I'm going to really jump into the main techniques of kind of how to maximize both Lyft and Uber. So I've these kind of written down. So a big thing is with Uber versus Lyft, Uber pays more, I find, period, overall. So if you're saying I just want to do one and not focus on the other one, Uber will pay more in terms of the base pay, in terms of how much they pay per per mile and per standby, whatever. So that's what we want to stress initially. In addition, the way that Uber works with the rates is a lot more efficient, in my opinion, than Lyft. So, for example, the best way to make money doing Lyft and Uber is for rates. So, when it's really, really popular, Uber will charge more, as Lyft will too. They will charge more because the demand's higher, so it incentivizes drivers to drive more. So, for example, here in Boston, I'm located in Brighton specifically right now. This morning, I remember it was about 2.1 times. So, instead of a ride being only $10 if I drove somebody, now it's $21. So obviously you can see that alone will boost your hourly income a lot. And most people, this is pretty much common sense. So that's one thing I'll say is what you want to do is try to map out, and this is actually what I did, and each city is different, so I want to stress that. But what you want to do is you want to map out how much money you're making per hour. In addition, try to map out the rate. So what I actually do is, especially in the beginning I did this, now I just know it off the top of my head, but in the beginning what I do is after every hour I'd be like, okay, how much did I make, and what was the rates like generally within that hour? And I would do that all the time, throughout every day. And I've kind of gotten a rhythm of like, okay, for example, in Boston, I know from 7 to 9 a.m. is big. This is probably true for any city, but, every city's different. 7 to 9 a.m. specifically from 8 to 9 a.m. and interestingly enough from 8:20 to 8:30 is the biggest point where the rates are the highest, weirdly enough. And then from 5 to 7 p.m. is pretty popular. Specifically, I find from like 5:30 to 6:30 is very popular. And then roughly, depending on the night, ignoring Friday and Saturday nights because obviously those are always busy. I find Monday through Thursday you're looking at maybe around 9:30 to like 10:45 is also like a big period too. So like those little blotches, like the more you do it, the more you find out. And I'm talking like writing it down, even if it's like a quick note or quick make like a weird journal or something like that. You'd be surprised how much it will maximize your earnings because then okay, I'm just gonna do it this 2-hour block, then do it this 1-hour block, then do it this couple-hour block, or whatever the case is. So I highly suggest signing up for both Lyft and Uber if you haven't done that yet, because there's advantages and disadvantages to both. And what you can kind of do is kind of mix and match the disadvantages and advantages of each one, combine them. As I said before, with Uber, you're going to find that you make more in terms of like the base pay, in addition obviously to the surcharge rate. So if you can only do one, Uber's not the way to go. However, there is a huge advantage to Lyft, and the main advantage with Lyft is the opt-in program. Uber does not do this. So Lyft has a kind of an opt-in program where they're going to give you a certain hourly rate no matter what. If you make more than that hourly rate, awesome, you can keep that. If you don't make that hourly rate, you're going to get compensated the difference. So I'll kind of explain a little bit. So Lyft will do something like say oh, what we're going to do as a opt-in, we're going to do $25 an hour for 7 to 9 a.m. So they'll give you kind of time periods. Specifically for Boston, keep in mind, this actually depends upon the city, so I'm giving the Boston example, but every city's different. So for Boston specifically for this week, they're doing from 7 to 9 a.m. They pay $25 an hour. That does not count the 20% cut. So really it's $20 an hour. And then in addition, what they'll say is that you need to ride for at least 15 minutes for that hour, and you need to do at least one ride. for that hour. If that makes sense. So one ride, you have to be at least in rider mode or driver mode, excuse me, for 15 minutes. Then you get that $20. So let's say if it's really, really, dead for some reason in the morning from 7 to 8 a.m., but let's say I do a 10-minute ride, and I park my car and I just wait for the rest of that hour, I'm still making that $20, and they're going to compensate me that extra 15 bucks, which is awesome. If I make more than $25, in that hour, I still get all of it. So you definitely want to do that with Lyft. So I'll actually do too, and this is gets a little tricky, a little hectic, and definitely some math involved, but it can be very beneficial. Is I'll kind of do okay, say I'm driving for Lyft, right, and I just did a ride for $12. That means that I technically have that $13 gap to reach that 25 for that 1 hour. So what I'll do is I'll then check Uber, and say that the rates for Uber are really high, and the rates are 2x or something like that. I will assume that if I actually get a 2x ride from Uber, I'll sometimes take it and turn off Lyft. Even though I have to ride the 50 minutes completely for that hour to get that total $25, I'm going to assume that I only made $12 with Lyft, so I'm going to do a ride with Uber because I'm going to assume that ride with Uber is going to be more than $13, and it's still going to be within that hour, which means I'm going to make more per hour, if that makes sense. So what I'll do is I'll kind of mix and match the Lyft opt-in program with Uber to kind of figure out how I can make the most bang for my buck. The good thing, though, I will say about doing it via Lyft is that with that program, you can also only do it for 15 minutes. So what I'll do is, say if I do a $5 ride, that's my one ride I need for that hour. I stay on driving mode for 15 minutes, and say if I do it from 7 to 8, at 7:50, I'll turn it off, turn Uber on, and then do Uber, because in that 10 minutes, I'm not making any extra money technically. Even if I do a $3 or $4 or $5 ride, I'm still not making extra money because Lyft is still going to compensate me to the $25 anyway. If that makes sense. Well, if you have any questions about this, feel free to post them in the comments. I know I'm kind of trying to explain this as simple as I can, but it's more basically trying to mix and match how much you're going to make per hour, and Lyft opt-in program is really the best way to go. Make sure as well when you do get those emails that you click opt-in, and you have to do that every week. Sometimes I forgot that 1 week and I didn't get any of those extra compensations from Lyft, so just want to keep that in mind. So that's kind of the best way that I find to do the income with both Lyft and Uber. To kind of briefly recap a couple of things. One, the type of gas you save with the car is huge. Whether you have a Prius or a van, just keep that in mind. Next thing is look nice, make your car look nice, presentable, doesn't smell bad, it's clean on the inside, so on and so forth. Have your music playing on a soft volume is what I do. Works very well. In addition to having the aux cord, kind of go along with that as well. The food, the water, the candy, all that kind of stuff, not necessary in my opinion. The big thing is just be friendly, be talkative. The more that you do it, the more that you kind of get a read on people. This person definitely wants to talk, or this person definitely doesn't. And just be accommodating depending on whatever they need as well. Now, when it comes to doing the programs, make sure you sign up for both Lyft and Uber, and kind of combine them where you do Lyft within the opt-in programs, because no matter what, you're definitely going to get paid. Very, very rarely will you work an hour and not get one ride with Lyft. So therefore, I'd highly suggest you do those opt-in programs and combine them with Uber. We can kind of mix and match, because if the rates are really high with Uber, you're better off doing the rates really high. If the rates are low, do Lyft and do the opt-in program, and then kind of mix and match them depending on what's ever going on. And sometimes, even within 1 hour, Uber have nothing, so I'll do a couple rides with Lyft, I'll secure that $25 an hour, and say the rates jump up with Uber, for 3x or whatever, boom, I'll switch right over to Uber and start doing that. But either way, you're still being able to maximize how much you're making per that hour. And the last thing, addition obviously mapping out the best times, I also mentioned that before, and that's something you do in addition to the opt-in program and with Lyft and Uber. They'll kind of hint at events and whatnot that are going on during that week. Make sure you follow those as well. But the last thing I want to say, and this is definitely a big one I want to stress, indirectly to make more money per hour, have business cards on. So for me, I'm a DJ music producer, in case someone watching this video doesn't know. So what I always do is when we're driving, I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be like, oh, so what do you do on the side? Is this all you do? I'll mention I'm a DJ, and some people are like, oh, that's cool. Other people are like, oh, really? That's awesome. I'm into electronic music. Do you have a card? Or what's your SoundCloud link? Or how can I find your music? And having your business cards is huge. So I have mine right in my kind of, glove compartment, or right in my, there's a name for that actually, the side compartment, I guess. Honestly, these, say for Chero, they have my links and everything. I cannot suggest you do this more. If you're, an entrepreneur who has a company, have your company card. If you're a real estate agent, I actually heard that there's a real estate agent, actually probably a lot of them, but this one particular story, I heard there's a specific real estate agent in Boston who his marketing scheme was he just did Lyft and Uber. he would get paid doing Lyft and Uber. In addition, every single person who would come in his car, he'd hand out his real estate card, like, hey, if you need an apartment, or if your friend needs one, or if you need to buy a house, your friend needs to buy a house, here's my card in case you need some advice or whatever. And that's a great marketing tool. In addition to what I did, obviously, hand out my cards, and I even have my music queued up on my system. So if someone says, hey, can I actually listen to music? Boom, I'll throw it right on. They can check it out. If they like it, cool. If they don't, no big deal. You know, so that's another great marketing strategy. And I say that because through doing this, obviously, I've gotten more contacts. I've gotten, you know, better connections. I've got more followers, so on and so forth. And those indirectly would get you more money with any entrepreneurial endeavor you're doing. Obviously, for me, for DJing, might give me more gigs, might give me more money for listens, or if people purchasing my albums, or whatever the case is. So, yeah. That's I think a big thing I want to say, because I know a lot of people who do not do that when they're doing Lyft and Uber, and I'm like, hey, it's free marketing. You meet new people all the time. It's not forced. It's not like you're walking up to someone and be like, hey, dude, check out my music, or check out this, or whatever. They're coming into your car. It's very relaxed, and you can casually bring it up in a way that works best for you. So yeah, so thanks for watching this video. You know, obviously these are all the techniques that I use to make more money with Lyft and Uber. I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 months now, so you know, I've definitely maximized a lot of my earnings by using these techniques. In addition, I have a link listed below to all those things I mentioned in the video. Those being, you know, the other video that I made of the income potential of Lyft and Uber. A link to an aux cord, it's like $5 or $10, it's really cheap. And also the links if you want to join Lyft and Uber to do them yourself. So, you know, those are the techniques I have. You know, if you have any questions or comments or anything I just mentioned, feel free to ask. I'm very responsive. And thanks again for watching.